Hi, welcome back. We're going to work through the basic floor plan we do in our beginning CAD class. Now, I'm literally going to start from absolute scratch on this one. Now, most of our students, we've had you go through and set up a bunch of layers, set your units and set your limits in a template file. That's just to kind of streamline things. But I'm going to show you how to do this literally from scratch. And this will kind of explain why I like to have a template made. I actually make a couple of templates ahead of time. It just saves a lot of setup time. It saves a lot of headaches later on. But I'm just going to start from bare bones scratch on this and have you, so you can see what we're doing. So first off, I just started drawing. And I first go into my units and I set my units to architectural because that's what I'm going to be working with. I'll leave it at default. I do like my precision a little tighter than default goes, but in all honesty, you don't even have to change that. Okay. Now my units are set. Next, I'm going to set my limits. Now, my lower left corner is at 0, 0. You can see that right down here on the command line. If you follow my cursor down, that right there is my 0 point. So I'm fine with that. My upper right corner, in other words, over here, it says my limits are actually at 1 foot, 0 inches by 9 inches. But if you look at the coordinates tracking on my cursor up there, I'm at 4 feet, 4 inches by 1 foot, 10 inches. So that doesn't really hold. You can turn them off. I usually just set my limits to be something ridiculous. Actually, let's go back here a little bit. I'm going to go back in and start this over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this to 400 feet. I missed the apostrophe, comma, 300 feet. And then I'm going to do zoom all, Z-A, Z-enter, A-enter. And what I've done is I've set my units up. I've got plenty of room to draw now. Okay, at this point, I'm going to look at my layers. Here's my layer properties. I can also pick the layer properties tab right there. Mine's just docked. I'm going to go a new layer, and I'm going to call it one walls, because that's what I'm going to start with today. Now I'm going to leave it at white and continuous. So the only thing I have to do now is set my one walls to be my current layer. Okay. At this point, I'm going to do a polyline. Now, I always start my houses with polylines for a couple of reasons. So if I just start anywhere, it doesn't actually matter where. Polyline, I'm going to pick a spot like, say, right here, drag it straight out. Now, the reason I do polylines is because we have to establish wall thickness. When we draw it on paper and are sketching, quite often we just use thick lines, like draw a couple lines next to each other, make them thick. In a CAD system, we need to be much more precise. So I'm going to start with a 13 foot, that's 13 apostrophe, foot wall, and then I'm going to point it straight upward and go 8 feet. Well, I could also type in 96 inches to get that 8 feet. So I can do either way. I'm just going to type in 96 because I did that. And then I'm going to go over another 17 feet. Now, if I knew the inches, I could do that, but I'm just going to type in 17 and go with it right there. Now, next thing, I know I got to, my cursor's trying to think for me. I'm going to go 32 feet back, and then I'm going to go 30 feet over, and then I'm literally going to type in close, and it's going to go back to where it started. Now I can do zoom, enter, extents, enter, and it's going to zoom to that full thing I just made. That's all it's showing. It zooms right to the extents of everything I've drawn. Okay. Now, because I've set my units and my limits, I can just do an offset command, which is O, enter, and I'm going to figure out my wall thickness. Now, wall thickness, this is important to remember. We usually use 2x6 framing around here, which means I do about a ½ inch, it's 7/16, OSB sheathing, and then a 2x6 stud wall. Well, a 2x6 in reality measures 1.5 by 5.5 nominally. Okay, that's their normal dimension. So I'm actually going to offset exactly 6 inches in. If I want to be really OCD about it, I can actually come out here and go offset, and I can go 7/16, and I can set in the skin. See, there's my skin for my OSB. And if I wanted to put the drywall on the inside, fine. I usually don't actually draw the drywall. And that's the reason I don't actually do this inner line usually too, because the framers know to put the skin on the outside, but the drywall folks are going to put the drywall on whatever's standing on the inside, and the framers need to know where those corners are. So I usually go to the corners so they can just nail the studs right at the corners, and I usually make a note of that. Now, other than that, okay, I've got the walls and doors and stuff in place. Now I'm just going to start putting, I've got the exterior walls in place. I'm actually going to explode this. So I highlight it, type X, enter to explode the whole drawing. I can do a zoom extents again if I want to. And then I'm going to start dropping in interior walls. Now, interior walls get interesting, and I use the offset command almost entirely to do my interior walls. Now, in this house plan, I know that I have a line or a wall that runs straight through the house like that, all the way through. It goes right from that inner wall's corner all the way through the house to the back end. Now, that wall, because it is not a bearing wall, offset, is only 3.5 inches thick. Okay? Now, this is where we start to get into some things. How big is that going to make this? Well, let's start with what we can know. I can go offset from here. I know that the kitchen dining room area, which is actually over in this part, from it to the pony wall that sticks out, there's a screen wall right here, is 17 feet 4 inches. If I offset from here out like that, I get that wall. Now, that's a line right now, it's not a wall. So I have to offset, again, 3.5 inches to establish the wall. Now, what's interesting is here, at no point do we tell how far out from this wall the cutoff is, but we do know it comes across this way. And if you look at the plans that we've supplied, you'll be able to figure that out. Now, other things we've got to figure out. Okay, we know that basically 5 feet across is this bathroom closet area here. It's bathroom here, closet here, and that has to have a plumbing wall right here, which is 5.5 feet. Okay, we also know that this trim, no walls extend through like there. There's not a straight line across that, okay? So I'm just gonna trim that off. I can know right now that if I offset the 8 feet, 96 inches again, if I want to type in 96, and then go 3.5, there we go. I'm just extending and trimming things off. Now, here's how this works. I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna zoom in right on this. So if I go, I'm gonna hit my escape key a couple times. If I go TR for trim and hit enter, it asks me to find a cutter so I can pick on an edge to cut with. What if I don't? If I just hit enter again, everything that intersects acts as a cutter. In other words, I can cut off wherever two lines intersect each other. So see how those all cut off? But I can't cut off that one because it doesn't intersect that. It just touches it. If I go back up here to the middle, I can continue this process literally through this by using the crossing option there or the crossing option here. Go up here to the far corner, again, crossing option, or just pick on it. Either way works. Now, we haven't talked about those, but we're going to right now. You've got two options for selection tool. You've got the window option. See, it's blue, and it happens anytime I click and drag. So I click, I let off my mouse, so it's a quick click, and then I drag out to my right, up or down, doesn't matter. That's going to be a window option. It will only select things that are completely inside it. See how that works? If I have to be completely inside of that, can't select any of that because I haven't got it completely. But if I go there, I'll get this one line because I went all the way over that one line. Now, the window option, on the other hand, the crossing option is anything it touches or encloses. So if I go like this to my right or to my left, up or down, I'm going to get a crossing option, and anything that touches or encloses will be selected. Okay. Now, I'm literally just going to make this wall cut off halfway across. Okay. I'm using the crossing option to pan out and get that real fast. So there's my bathroom walk-in. Actually, that's laundry, isn't it? And my kitchen dining area. And I'm just blocking in walls, okay? So next I've got to block in, honestly, a bedroom right here. So I'm going to go offset again. And this is 13 feet 6 inches from the outside edge of the house. So 13 feet 6 inches from here to where it crosses. Now again, I'm going to use my trim tool. I'm going to use this as a cutter this time. Let's get rid of that. That's where my wall cuts across there. If I offset that wall 3.5 inches, which is an interior partition wall, there he is. That's where my bedroom, this back bedroom, is going to go. Again, I can use the trim command and start trimming out things like that, and like say this guy here and this little guy right there. Okay, and now I can do some other stuff. So I got to make a closet here that is 6'10" across, and then a hallway that is 3'1" across. So if I go like this, I go offset, and I type in 6 feet 10, enter. I pick here, and I pick over. I hit enter twice, or my spacebar twice, same thing, and I go 37 inches. That's the same thing as 3'1" from here over. Now all I got to do is go enter one more time, enter a third time, I go back to offset, and I can reset my distance at 3.5, so I can put the linen closet in right there. Okay. Now the only things I have left to do is to do some trimming here. So I got to offset a little bit first. I need to put in the sides of this walk-in closet. It's 5 foot, 3.5 inches. I'm just going to click on here and go downward and then enter twice. Do 3.5 again, and the dimension this time comes back in. The dimension on this closet that I had went from here to here. Okay, if you look at the plans. Now, I'm going to do some trimming. Get rid of that. Get rid of this stuff. Get in here. Get rid of the stuff inside the wall. I'm again using the crossing option to get rid of it. Because honestly, it's pretty easy to use that tool as a crossing option tool. Okay. Whoop. There we go. So there's my start of my linen closet and walk-in closet. Now the bathroom is exactly 5 feet across from inside edge to inside edge. So offset 50 inches or 5 feet, same thing. Okay. This time I need to put a plumbing wall on this side. So I'm going to go offset 5.5 and put a plumbing wall in there. Now the reason this wall is called a plumbing wall and so is this one is because we have to put the plumbing inside that wall. Otherwise it will not work, because the plumbing, like soil stacks, are nearly the same size as a 2x4, which is what a partition wall is made out of. So I'm just going to go like that. I'm going to go trim, get rid of those pieces. And the last thing I have to do is make a closet here. Now, here's an interesting part about closets. A normal coat closet or a normal bedroom closet is 2 feet deep on the inside. So if I go offset, enter, and I go 25 inches, because remember I got a 1/2 inch of drywall I got to take into account. And I just go like this. Okay, and then I simply go and extend. Oops, EX, enter, enter. Anything that crosses, just like with the trim tool, I can extend it out. Offset. Well, let's cheat a little bit. I want this linen closet that's right here to be the same depth as this linen closet right there. So line straight through like so, line straight through like so. Now I'm using the object snap tools to do that, but it's making my life a little bit easier in some ways. I can trim out that really quick. So gotta get over here and get this guy. There we go. I got one more corner to clear out. Okay. There are all of my interior walls. There are no openings for doors or windows or anything else. But that's how we do interior walls. Thanks for your time. I'll show you the next bit in a minute.